If grocery runs already feel like roulette, imagine what happens when prices jump again and the shelves thin out, just as your budget tightens. For retirees living on fixed income, big families stretching every dollar at Walmart or Aldi, and young adults juggling rent and food, one mistake, waiting, costs real meals. This isn't panic, it's planning. Think of today's list as insurance you can eat. 10 surprising foods that last, stretch recipes, and lift morale when choices shrink. You'll see smart swaps, simple storage, airtight plus cool, dark space, and the exact ways each item saves money while keeping meals satisfying. Stay to the end for a tiny flavor hack that can turn survival food into comfort food in seconds. Quick ask, as we go, drop your pick in the comments. Which two would you grab first if you only had $20 this week? Let's start. Let's begin with the Pantry MVP that outlives fresh meat by decades. Item 1. Nutritional yeast. When dairy gets expensive or simply disappears from shelves, there's one golden powder that quietly saves the day: nutritional yeast. Most people overlook it, but it delivers that familiar cheesy flavor while packing B vitamins and protein your body desperately needs in a shortage. I've seen it sold in bulk at Walmart and Costco, usually between $3 and $8 a tub. And the truth is, a single container can last months because just a spoonful transforms a whole pot of pasta, rice, or even popcorn. Stored in a sealed jar in a cool cabinet, it holds its power for years, making it one of the easiest long-term staples you can add. I've heard retirees say it let them keep grandkids' meals comforting without splurging on real cheese. And students love it because it turns dollar store noodles into something that feels indulgent. Here's my question for you. If dairy completely vanished tomorrow, would you rather have nutritional yeast on hand or a box of powdered milk? Leave your answer in the comments. I think the debate might surprise you. Next up, a butter alternative that never spoils and actually gets better with time. Item 2. Ghee, clarified butter that keeps. Most people rush to grab regular butter for their pantries, but there's a smarter choice that almost never spoils: ghee or clarified butter. Unlike the butter that softens and turns bad in warm kitchens, ghee sits happily at room temperature, waiting to be used. A small jar, often $6 to $12 at Walmart, Costco, or any Indian market, can outlast dozens of sticks of butter. I still remember the first time I opened a box that had been sitting in my pantry for over a year. The flavor had actually deepened, becoming richer and nuttier than when it was new. That's the magic of ghee. It doesn't just last, it improves with time. Families can fry eggs, saute vegetables, or make rice taste luxurious with just a spoonful. It means reliable fat and flavor without worrying about refrigeration. Imagine cooking during a blackout. With heat you can't quite control, ghee's high smoke point makes it safer and easier than butter. So let me ask you, if you had to stock one, would you choose a single jar of ghee or 2 boxes of butter that might not last the summer heat? Next up, a protein powerhouse that looks nothing like meat but can easily replace it. Item 3. Textured vegetable protein, TVP. When beef hits $8 a pound, most people panic. But tucked away in bulk bins and online stores is a quiet hero: textured vegetable protein, or TVP. It doesn't look like much, just dry granules. But when you soak it in broth, it comes alive, soaking up flavor and taking on the exact texture of ground meat. I once made tacos with half beef, half TVP, and no one at the table noticed. The kicker? A single pound of TVP, usually around $3 to $5 at Walmart or Costco, replaces several pounds of meat in stores for years if kept airtight with an oxygen absorber. Think of the possibilities: chili night for a big family, pasta sauce for pennies, or protein-packed sloppy joes for students on a budget. It's steady protein security without the freezer bills. And here's a fun question. If you had TVP on hand right now, would you cook up taco night first or stretch it into a giant pot of chili? Coming next, the simple paste that turns hot water into a meal and bland food into something worth eating. Item 4. Miso paste. Compact protein plus umami base. There's a tiny tub that many shoppers pass by, yet it holds the power to keep you nourished for years. Miso paste. A few dollars at Walmart's international aisle or an Asian market buys you a jar that can flavor hundreds of meals. All you need is hot water and a spoonful, and suddenly you've got a warm, savory broth that feels like comfort in a cup. During shortages, that kind of quick protein and mineral boost is priceless. I tried it myself last winter. Just miso, dried seaweed, and hot water, and it was one of the most satisfying soups I'd ever had. Stored properly in its container in a cool, dark place, miso can last for years, even improving with age. What surprised me most is how it makes even bland rice or noodles taste like a complete dish, tricking your brain into feeling full on smaller portions. So here's my question. On a cold night, would you rather sip on miso broth or open another can of soup from your pantry? Next, a seed paste that's been keeping families alive for generations, and it might be sitting right next to peanut butter in the store. Item 5, tahini, sesame paste for all-day energy. When people rush to grab peanut butter, they often miss its quieter cousin, tahini, made from ground sesame seeds. This simple paste has been called a survival food for centuries, and once you taste it, you'll see why. A single jar, usually $4 to $9 depending on size, keeps for years without refrigeration and delivers calcium, protein, and healthy fats that steady your energy through long days. I once mixed tahini with honey on toast during a camping trip, and the fullness lasted for hours. In tough times, that kind of staying power matters. What's even better is its versatility. Blend it into dressings, stir it into soups, or even mix it with cocoa powder for a quick chocolate spread. It naturally separates in storage, but a quick stir brings it right back to life. Many families in the Middle East survive wartime with nothing but tahini bread and tea, proof of just how complete this food can be. So here's my challenge. If you had to choose one for your emergency breakfast, would you pick tahini with honey or peanut butter with oats? Up next, the ocean vegetable that carries minerals our soil can no longer provide. Item 6, nori seaweed sheets, minerals plus instant umami. Most people only think of nori when they see sushi, but these dark green sheets are one of the most underrated survival staples you can buy. For just $3 to $6 a pack, cheaper if you buy restaurant-sized bundles at Asian markets, you get a food packed with minerals our soil-grown vegetables can't provide anymore. Iodine, selenium, magnesium, nutrients your body needs to keep energy and focus steady when fresh produce is scarce. I'll never forget a family in Alaska telling me how seaweed carried them through weeks of isolation when storms cut off supply boats. They crumbled it into soups and over rice, turning plain staples into meals that felt special. Stored dry in an airtight container with a silica packet, nori stays crisp and powerful for years. Toast one sheet over a flame for 10 seconds, crumble it into your food, and suddenly dinner tastes like it came from a restaurant. So tell me, would you rather sprinkle salt on your survival meal or add a sheet of seaweed that brings both flavor and minerals? Next, a flour that stretches recipes further, fills you faster, and stays good long after regular wheat has spoiled. Item 7, coconut flour. Tiny scoop, big fill. When wheat prices spike, coconut flour quietly becomes a lifesaver. It's naturally gluten-free, rich in fiber, and so absorbent that 1 cup can often replace several cups of regular flour in recipes. That means a 5-pound bag can last 4 times longer, saving you money and stretching your stockpile further. You'll find it in Walmart's baking aisle or bulk at Costco for around $3 to $6 per pound, and once sealed in a cool, dry place, it stays fresh for years. The first time I used it for pancakes, my kids couldn't even finish their usual portions. The fiber kept them full much longer. In a shortage, that matters. It's not just for baking either. A spoonful can thicken soups or stews when cornstarch runs out, and mixed with eggs and water, it makes quick protein bread with no yeast required. Some preppers even slip a bay leaf into the container to keep pests away, a simple trick that works wonders. So here's my question. If you had to stretch your soup pot tomorrow, would you rely on coconut flour or stock up on cornstarch instead? Coming up, a single bottle that transforms bland beans and rice into something your family actually looks forward to eating. Item 8, Fish sauce. Tiny teaspoon, huge payoff. It may look like just another condiment, but fish sauce is one of the cheapest ways to keep meals exciting during a crisis. For $2 to $5 a bottle, you get a liquid that never really spoils because the salt and fermentation make it safe for years. I once tried adding just a teaspoon to a pot of lentils, and suddenly the dish tasted like something from a restaurant. My kids even asked for seconds. That's the hidden power here. A tiny amount transforms rice, beans, or noodles into meals your family will actually want to eat. Stored in its original glass bottle, away from direct sunlight, fish sauce doesn't just last. It gets deeper and richer in flavor over time. Many Southeast Asian families have relied on it for generations, not just as seasoning, but as a source of minerals and even protein. Imagine cooking with nothing but rice in your pantry, then adding a splash of fish sauce and garlic. You'd have dinner that feels hearty instead of plain. So here's my question. In your emergency stash, would you choose an extra shaker of salt or a bottle of fish sauce that does far more with less? Next, a jar that carries live cultures and vitamin C, helping your body stay strong when fresh produce is long gone. Item 9. Fermented vegetables. Kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles. Canned vegetables are everywhere, but the real secret is in jars that are still alive. Fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, and true pickles. These aren't just tangy condiments. They're survival superfoods packed with probiotics, electrolytes, and vitamin C. One forkful alongside rice or potatoes can turn a heavy, plain meal into something vibrant and nutritious. I've seen jars run $3 to $7 in the refrigerated section at Walmart or Aldi, and they last for months, even improving in flavor over time if stored in a cool, dark place. My grandmother used to tell me how families in the 1930s, depression stayed healthy by drinking pickle juice when fresh food was nowhere to be found. That briny liquid is actually electrolyte rich, making it a natural sports drink when water alone isn't enough. Just make sure to choose unpasteurized jars with live cultures. The shelf-stable kind won't give you the same benefits. The way I see it, a single jar of kimchi can protect your gut, lift your immune system, and brighten bland meals when it matters most. So tell me, if you had to pick just one for your shelves, would you reach for kimchi or classic dill pickles? Finally, we'll talk about the one tiny bottle that doesn't just feed your body, it keeps your spirit alive when everything else feels heavy. Item 10. Pure vanilla extract, morale in a bottle. Sometimes survival isn't just about calories, it's about morale. And that's where a tiny bottle of pure vanilla extract becomes priceless. For $4 to $12 in the baking aisle, you get a flavor booster that never spoils because it's made with over 35% alcohol. I once found an old bottle in my grandmother's pantry from the 1980s. It was still perfectly good, and the flavor had grown richer with time. In stressful situations, a few drops of vanilla can completely change the mood. Add it to powdered milk, and suddenly you've got vanilla milk that feels like comfort. Stir it into oatmeal, and it tastes like dessert instead of another plain bowl. Scientists even confirm the scent of vanilla triggers serotonin and endorphins, lifting spirits when stress is high. Families who live through blackouts and shortages often use vanilla to make cheap staples feel special, keeping hope alive when nothing else could. So let me ask you, if you had to choose a single morale booster for your pantry, would it be vanilla extract or cocoa powder? Now let's wrap this up and see how all these pieces fit together. Stockpiling isn't about hoarding, it's about building meals you can trust when prices soar and shelves thin out. With these 10 surprising items, you cover every angle. Protein from TVP and miso, minerals from seaweed, fats and flavor from ghee and tahini, vitamins from fermented foods and nutritional yeast, stretching power from coconut flour, instant umami from fish sauce, and even comfort for the soul from vanilla. One by one, these small purchases add up to big security. So here's my challenge to you. If you only had $20 this week, which two would you grab first? Share your answer in the comments. It might give someone else the idea they need. And if this video helped, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's feeling the pinch at the grocery store. Next time, I'll reveal 3 common storage mistakes that ruin stockpiles quietly and the simple fixes that save your food. Remember this, prepare today so tomorrow's dinner is already taken care of.